Greetings. My name is Emma G Ortega. As to who I am an artist, I am a mother, I am a grandmother, I am a great-grandmother, and I'm a storyteller. So let's find out a little bit more about myself, even me find out about myself, because this is Una Plática.
Una Plática.
Es una plática.
Say plática.
Una plática.
Una Plática. What inspired me to become an artist? I don't know. It's a way of life. I saw my mother always embroidering, crocheting, painting. So this is how I was raised, seeing all these things around me. The storytelling, every evening sitting outside, late in the evening out of the front yard with all the other ladies of the neighborhood. They would all come and gather at my house. I would play with the kids. We'd be chasing fireflies, catching them and bringing them in the house, and they're glowing at night when you're supposed to be asleep. But my mother would be telling stories, and the ladies would be sharing their experiences. So being that part is something that I grew up with. And seeing art, I've always loved art. She would point out colors of, look how the nopales today are lighter here, darker here. Look how pretty they look. So I learned to look at things. I've always been an artist. I think we all are. We just haven't been exposed, or it hasn't been pulled out of us. But I think we all have. Now, I'm saying artist, but as a Native American, I'm putting myself into a box because we don't do that. We are a multitude of gifts in us, and we might be working with animals. We might be doing some weaving. We might be doing experimenting and cooking. We're a multitude of, I guess, I hate to use the word artists, because that to me feels like I'm being put in a box. Just a multitude of gifts that grandfather gave us, and I'm using them. Very indigenous. Indigenous from Mexico, because that's where my great-grandparents came from. But my father is Lipan Apache, or was. My mother is Cagno, Carrizo Come Crudo. So there is that, again, native, indigenous DNA. We don't see ourselves as anything else but part of the land. We are the land, Mother Earth. We are everything that it gives us. So I don't say that I am this or that, or again, have a title. I guess if we're gonna have titles, we have to use the word, we are the land. My superhero would be my mother. She washed for a living, scrubbed and ironed by hand. I never heard her complain. She was always whistling real softly. She always had a smile on her face. Times were hard. We were very poor money-wise, but we were very rich in love and in caring. I didn't know we were poor, but then everybody around us was the same way. But she crocheted, she embroidered, she made all my clothes. We'd go to Solo Serve and she'd buy a little piece of material and I'd have a brand new dress, or always had something pretty. She always worked. So whenever I start, boo-hoo me, I don't have or that, I think of her. How can you say you don't have material when all she ever wanted was to have her own home? And she never got the chance to do that. And when I complain about my house is this, my house is that, stop it. Think of your mother. So she is my superhero. I don't know what change I would like to make with the artwork that I do, because I do branch weaving, I do basket weaving, I paint in acrylics, Native American storyteller. I do a lot of arts, different types of arts. Maybe when I was working, what I loved to do was teaching the kids that was a way of releasing stress, relaxing. It doesn't have to, if it comes out looking kind of strange, look at Picasso. Look at some of the artists that did strange things, abstract things, and they're beautiful. So it doesn't have to be like if you're painting something, it doesn't, you're looking at a statue and you want to draw that, it doesn't need to come out just like that. It comes out the way you see it. And saying, you have that right to see things different from everybody else. If you're writing, you have a right to think and write what you feel, what's in your heart, what's in your mind, what you want to say. Don't limit yourself. I still try new things. Sometimes I say, ooh, that looks interesting. What can I do with it? It's your imagination. Don't ever lose that. Yes, we need to have places like Centro. I remember setting up altars here years ago when I was doing the altars for Dia de los Muertos. The first altar that I ever set up was in 1977. My husband passed away in 76. And we had altars at home, little altars, but they were with santitos and candles. And my mother was a healer. My grandmothers were healers. My aunties were healers. They were all curanderas. And I always loved their altars, but they always worked with white. I didn't know there was a difference, but I found out later there was white and a black. They always worked in white. And so when my husband passed away and I saw the first altar for Dia de los Muertos in a big farm outside of what we had at home, I loved it. I thought, what a beautiful way to remember my mother, my father, all my grandmothers, all my ancestors. And so I started studying about it. And there was a beautiful lady here in San Antonio, Señora Maria Luisa Camacho de Lopez. We were very good friends. She was amazing. She was amazing. What we learned from that woman was unbelievable. She was a very, very close friend. We saw each other and talked to each other almost every day. So I learned from her. I went to her to study with her. And she taught me how altars are set up, all different, all throughout Mexico. Not just one altar, one style. What they use, tissue papers, minute little things. So I loved setting up altars. And I set a large, very, very many times I set altars here. And I did take the main altars. So yes, we need places like this to encourage more artists, more people that They can express themselves in because art is so many things. Art is drawing, art is poetry, art is making things, art is just writing. Everything is art. It's just how you look at it. But yes, we need more places. I do storytelling for every month in April with Manny and at AIT. We do every Monday in April. And that is an art. Having a plática at the same time, talking about San Antonio, talking about the animals, because I use animals in my stories, and telling the stories. So, yes, we need these places to be able to express ourselves and know that we're not going to be criticized, that we didn't do it the right way, or there is no right or wrong way. Our Lady of Guadalupe, because my mother was very devoted to her. I have her on my door at home, in the front door, a drawing of Our Lady of Guadalupe, but she's wearing a blanket. She's not wearing a manto. She's wearing a blanket, and there's a little short person with long gray hair and a little boy next to her facing La Virgen, and she has her hand on top of the little boy's head. Well, the old lady is me, and the little boy is my great-grandson, Donovan, because he lived with me and I raised him. So she's watching over us. And it's a drawing that's been there for about 12 years now. It's kind of fading away and tearing away. I wish there was a way of preserving it. But it's on my front door as you go into a part of the house. So that is one of my favorites. And then, of course, El Día de los Muertos. The meaning to it, the inviting all these people that are gone to come back. Thank you for coming to visit us. Thank you, we're here, we're remembering you. Thank you for the gifts that you left us, all those memories that you left us with, all that learning. The way of saying thank you, to be appreciative. So those are two of my favorites. I don't have just one. I'm going to have to be real honest about this. I've always seen, what I've seen personally, I can tell you about artists in San Antonio, is they seem to belong to a clique. I've never been part of that clique. I don't know why. Maybe my art, I'm not going to say wasn't good enough, because it is good. It's good for me. It doesn't mean it has to be good for anybody else, but it's good for me. Maybe I'm doing something different, and I have done different things, because 2 or 3 years later, somebody's doing what I did 3 years ago, and maybe I was misunderstood. I don't know, but I kept going. So as far as these young artists, don't stop. If for some reason somebody criticizes your work, so what? You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. And someday, somebody's going to say, wow, that is awesome. It may not happen with the first showing that you have. If there are showings and you're able to connect with people like Centro and different groups out here that you can connect with, do so. And always be watching, always be looking. How did they see my art? And talk to the people. Don't be afraid to say, what do you think? This is how I see, but what do you think? Help me see more in my work. Don't be afraid to ask, because they may say one simple little thing that is going to make a big difference because you failed to see it. You weren't ready to see it. Not that you failed, you weren't ready to see it. But don't give up. I mean, like I said, I've never really been part of the clique, and that's okay. I do my own artwork. Like people say, you dress strange. Thank you. I didn't dress for you, I dressed for myself. So take this into your artwork. Don't give up. Keep doing it, keep doing it. And then you yourself will see changes in your artwork as time goes by. But don't say the first one wasn't good. Your first one was your first step, and you'll be taking more steps and more steps. So always keep that first piece of whatever it is that you do to remind yourself of where you started and how far you've come and how far you will still be going. Don't give up. That's the main thing. Don't give up. I graduated from Fox Tech. I knew I wasn't going to go to college, so I didn't take college entrance credits. I did fine arts and commercial art. And the last day, I was surprised to find out that I received a scholarship in art. And there was no way that I could ask my mother did we get the money, where can I get the money from, and that. There was no help. There was no aid or anything like that. So I turned the scholarship down. But I always painted. I always had my own style of painting. I did a lot of villages, little Mexican villages, and bright color houses in those villages, and burros and things like that. That always drew my attention. But it was all watercolor. I always worked on watercolor. And I love watercolor. I like it. And then when I was working at school, one of the ladies came and told me, Harold is going to have a t-shirt painting class, and he thinks you would like it. I said, yeah, but I don't have any money. I'm real tight on money right now. He said, no, he'll pay for the class. It was at Harold Plaster's. I said, oh, okay. I said, what do I need to take? He said, no. She asked and said, no, nothing. Just bring yourself on Saturday morning. Well, I was relieved about that because I didn't have any money at all. I mean, I didn't have 10 cents, if any. That was about it. So, are you sure I don't need to take anything? He said, no. That night before, they called and said, you need to bring a white t-shirt. Here it is at night. There's nowhere I can go and buy a secondhand white t-shirt, and I didn't have one. But I had a lot of white material. So I made a big white blouse. So I took my blouse with me. In the morning, I was there, and the lady, they took me to the room where they were going to be given the classes, and the lady said, I have patterns, they're 10 cents each. I said, may I draw something, sketch something on my own? Her remark was, if you think you can. I said, well, I'll sketch something. I didn't know anything about blocking the shirt or anything. There was a lady next to me. She said, here, come sit next to me and I'll tell you what to do. He said, you need a cardboard, a cardboard covered in plastic. I said, where do I get a cardboard? So I went to the pickup, because I had a pickup at the time, found a cardboard, and found a bag like from H-E-B, that kind of plastic, covered the board. She showed me how to block it. I sketched the sketching. It was of a mountain in the background, a little church way in the back, a little donkey sitting down on his haunches with a basket full of flowers, and the little boy on his heels trying to pull the little donkey up. Then they stopped for a break, and I remember they had bagels and cream cheese for 25 cents. I didn't have 25 cents. So I went and sat in the car, in the pickup, and waited till it was time to start. And I could see with the ladies, they got up and went back to work. So I came in and I started painting. At that time, at that session, there were quite a few people, ladies that were snowboarders that were traveling. And near there was a trailer park. So they parked their trailers there, and then they continued to park when they were ready to go. Well, the ladies liked it so much when I took it out. The lady next to me again showed me how I was supposed to iron it when the colors dried. She taught me about medium. I didn't know about medium. She's the one that told me, not the instructor, the lady next door. I'll say next door because she was sitting next to me. So she showed me, and those snowboarder ladies loved what I had done. So they started asking, would I make a shirt for them the same way that I did. It was like a huipil type of top. I said, sure. And I said, but I don't have money for the paints. And Harold said, whatever you need, I'll get them for you. I said, oh, thank you. So I took orders that day. They said, we'll be back in about a month and a half, 2 months. Can you have them ready? Yes. And they said, how much? I didn't know what to charge, and Harold said, $25. So I came out of there with a lot of money. And that is how I started painting on T-shirts. After a while, after school, I was given classes on painted T-shirts. And that's when I started making money, painting in that way. But I had always painted, but not T-shirts. So that is one of the arts that I learned. Then basket weaving, they asked me if I could give a class on basket weaving. I said, sure. Yeah. Man, I looked it up real quick. I didn't know how to do basket weaving. I learned. And then I saw branch weaving. I said, I have all these yarn. So what can I do with it? Branch weavings. So I started doing weaving and branch weaving. And it's something that just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I do a lot of acrylic. I do a lot of, I like doing Native American scenes. I have a series right now of 24 drawings. And you see the desert and everything. And the mountain comes up, but the top of the mountain is a mother holding her baby. That is our Mother Earth. We are her children. And on the base, there's going to be, might be cactus, might be brush, might be corn, might be something. But there's something, an animal in there, because as a storyteller, like I said, native storyteller, I use the animals in my stories. So they are represented in whatever is on the base of the mountain. And that one is called We Are the Land. And there's 24 pieces of those drawings. And they're all that high mountain, but that is our Mother Earth. And then, I don't know, I'm always doing something. Last night I was making ribbon skirts. I'm doing big bags with a lot of fringe, a lot of leather, rabbit furs. Some coyote heads are coming in today, as a matter of fact. And so I do medicine bags. I work a lot with the sage and Palo Santo and all our herbs. So that's the native side that is very strong. So I do a lot of things. And who knows what else what's my next lesson going to be?